following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, welcome to our second show. It seems like we're having a fantastic time, and we're interviewing very interesting folks, and occasionally we'll be able to go on site and to their studios and talk to them where the art actually does happen. Our guest for this show is Carol Eyman, and I want to thank you for being on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Just thought I'd read a little bit about her bio because I've known her for years, and I've been in Nashua for 30 years, and then when I saw this bio just yesterday, a couple of days ago, it opened my eyes. I mean, you can know someone and not really know someone. She has a lot more interest than I originally knew about. Carol Eyman is the Outreach and Community Services Coordinator at the Nashua Public Library in New Hampshire, where she handles publicity and marketing, plans adult programs, and works with community groups. She has a master's degree in education and a certificate in technical communication. Before joining the library staff, Carol was a computer programmer, technical writer, editor, and teacher. Wow, what a combination there. She is the author of How to Publish Your Newsletter and the editor of the Nashua Experience, a 3-decade upgrade, 1978 to 2008, and that's the Part 2 book, because the Part 1 book covers the earlier years. Oh, okay, Carol, we had a fascinating conversation before the show started. I have to kind of get my gyroscope back in gear here. Let's just start off with, the library offers so many different programs and activities, and it has altered and changed over the 30 years I've been here in Nashua. Can you just mention some of the things that the library offers besides just books?
Sure. Well, most people think of a library as mainly books and, of course, maybe magazines and newspapers, but they often don't know that we have DVDs. I think 10 or 15,000 DVDs.
Wow, I didn't know that.
We have CDs, music CDs. We have audiobooks on CD. We have ebooks you can download.
Oh, okay.
Also,
and that's all free?
Yeah, with
Wow,
a library card.
okay,
With a library
yeah.
card. We have audiobooks you can download to your phone or your MP3 player, or however you want to listen to them. For the kids, we have puppets that they can borrow and bring home. And a new thing in a few weeks, we're going to have a telescope that you can take home with you. The New Hampshire Astronomical Society has donated a telescope. So
that's awesome.
something you don't think about going to your library
for.
Yeah.
No, and I think you also have, at one time you had museum passes.
Oh, we still have museum passes.
Yeah.
Yep,
Can you talk a little bit about that? 'Cause
yeah.
not everybody knows about it.
Right. We have about 14 different passes to about 14 different museums. So the newest one is Charming Fair Farm. And what these are...
Can I ask you, what is Charming Fair Farm? I'm just interested.
It's a place with farm animals and rides, and they do different classes and activities there. So it's a wonderful place for to take your young children.
So it's a more organic experience than sitting behind a computer per se. I mean, they're actually they're actually meeting the animals and getting out fresh air.
Yeah. And so, for example, it's $17 to get into Charming Fair Farm, and I believe the pass gets you in for half price, and 8 people in for half price.
That's
so
a big
that's
deal.
a real deal bargain. Now, some of them we have, for instance, the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston.
Yes.
And that pass, I believe it gets you in for $10, 2 people for $10.
Ooh,
but
that's good.
the normal price is $25.
Right.
So some of them get you into the museums free. Others are deep discounts. And you have to reserve them. You can either go on our website, or you can call us or come in downstairs to the Music, Art, and Media Wing and reserve them, because we can't let everybody who has a library card go every day at a discount. So you have to take a pass for a certain day. 1 person per day gets to take the pass. So that's why.
And then it's due back within a day, or?
Yeah, some of them are on plastic. You have to bring them back. They're little plastic cards, but others are just a coupon you throw away.
And that's a great program.
Yeah,
because I've taken advantage of that over the 30 years, off and on with things, and well, you can save a lot of money by doing that, because it can accumulate if you don't have it.
Right. So
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the Nashua Reads program all about?
Yeah, that's a program, librarians call it a community reading program. Every year we choose a book and we try to get everybody in Nashua to read that book.
Oh, okay.
And then we
Can I
started.
backtrack 1 second? Excuse me for interrupting. But is that done through Facebook, and how do you get the word out?
Oh, all different ways.
Okay.
Facebook, Twitter, our newsletters, our brochures, yeah, signs in the
So
library.
you guys are very modern with all that.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So each year we get people to read the same book, and then in the fall we have book discussions and programs about the book, and we bring the author in so people can come and meet the author.
Oh.
Yeah. So this year the book is The Widower's Tale by Julia Glass, and this is her, I think, her 4th novel. Her first novel won the National Book Award, so she's really quite an excellent author. I've read all 4 of her books, and I'm really excited to meet her. She's coming October 25th to the library, and that's an evening program where it's the only thing all year long that we charge anything for.
Oh, right.
So it's $7 to come and hear her speak, but if you'd like to come early to the wine and cheese reception, private wine and cheese with her, you need to give a $25 donation to the Friends of the Library.
Okay.
So the book, The Widower's Tale, each year when we choose the book, we've probably got between 50 and 75 copies of it. So
okay.
It's pretty easy to get a copy. I do suggest people go online and reserve one.
Okay.
Usually
through your website.
Through our website,
Okay,
yeah.
right,
You can go in and search our catalog and then reserve the books that you find.
That's a neat program.
But,
I saw the
yeah.
little thing that she had, the little promo, I believe, in the image gallery downstairs, if I'm not mistaken. There was a little piece there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they mentioned the national medal
The National
that
Book
she had
Award.
won.
Right,
which is
right.
as soon as I hear national, I know it's a big deal, even if I don't know that particular
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, hubba hubba, that's a big deal. Now, do you hold book groups at the library?
Well, there's a group called the Nashua Novel Readers that has been meeting at the library for, I want to say, like 20 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, they meet each month.
You mean the same group for 20 years, or has it grown? Or?
It grows and shrinks and grows and shrinks,
okay.
yeah, but some of the
Wow.
same people. And so they meet on the 2nd Thursday of the month at 7 o'clock. But also the other thing we're finding, people seem to enjoy having their own kind of personal book groups in their home, and they serve dinner or wine or whatever. And so we try to support people with that by letting them borrow multiple copies of a book.
Oh, okay.
So if your group in October is going to read a certain book, we can get you, 10 copies or whatever you need to check out. We do interlibrary loan with other libraries in the state. And,
no, that's something people probably didn't know about.
Yeah.
That the libraries within the state of New Hampshire all intershare.
Right. We also,
okay.
all the libraries in the state have gotten together to do this Reads to Go service where they buy 10 copies of a book plus a large print copy of the book, put it in a tote bag with discussion questions and information about the author. And those are newer books, mostly within the past 5 or 10 years that they've been published. And so you can reserve that book bag and check that out for your group.
Right, and it's all set for you. It's like you have your own little program right there.
And if you want to know,
with questions, which is a big help.
Yeah, and so you can go online. I'm not sure the exact website, but if you Google New Hampshire Reads to Go,
yes,
you can find a list of all the
That's a
books.
great name.
Yeah,
New Hampshire Reads to Go.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And so you can find a list of all the books if you need ideas for what your book group might read. These are all books that have been recommended by librarians for book groups.
Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so
Wonderful.
That's a great program.
Now I heard you offer free tutoring. What is that all about? Now is that a specific subject matter or?
Well, we have something called Homework Help Now, which is online tutoring. So you go on our website, put in your library card number, and you get connected to a tutor, and you chat with them. You don't. It's not video. It's chat like I am.
Oh, the IM,
instant
right,
messaging.
right.
But the difference is that you have an online whiteboard, so you can use tools to write out your algebra problem or draw the shapes for your geometry problem. You can also, and then you talk to the tutor back and forth to solve your problem, you solve your questions.
Right.
You can also send them files. So like if you're working on an English paper and you need help with it, you can send it to them, and they can read it and give you suggestions for improving it. They don't give the answers.
Right.
A lot of teachers say to me, I don't want to, do they give the answers? No, they don't give the answers.
But just kind of navigate them.
Yeah, they help you through it. And it's available, in English, math, English, social studies, science, also Spanish. If you're taking Spanish in middle school or high school,
right.
They have tutors to help you. And they have tutors who speak Spanish. So say there's a kid that just moved to the country,
great.
Needs help with math, they can speak to a Spanish-speaking tutor.
So the tutoring program has expanded to also have Spanish-speaking tutors that could help those students that only speak Spanish as they're going through.
Right,
and
right.
so that sounds great. I mean, if they don't know English, that's really handy.
And then they also have help for adults who are studying for the GED.
Oh, okay.
So to tutor them in that, they can take practice tests online, and they have help for people studying for the citizenship test.
Okay, now that was another question I was going to ask you about your immigrants programs or programs for the immigrants, if that's the right way to say it.
Yeah.
Now, did you basically answer that, or is there more to that?
Yeah, we have more than that. We have a lot of resources for people wanting to learn English.
Okay.
One that many people have heard of is Inglés Sin Barreras, which is
it sounds beautiful. What is that from? What language is it?
It's for Spanish speakers who want to learn English, and it's
okay.
a kit of multimedia materials to help them learn, DVDs and books and that kind of thing.
Okay.
It's well known among
How do you say that again?
Inglés Sin Barreras.
Oh, wow.
I think
Sounds
that's how you
beautiful.
try. So we have that. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, we have a nice set of DVDs that's called Éxito en el Norte, Success in the North.
I got the North part.
Okay, so those are DVDs in Spanish about adjusting to various aspects of life here, like taxes and the healthcare system, the
so this is
system.
the brass tacks. This is wonderful.
Yeah, and those are good. You can bring them home and watch them yourself. They're also good for, if you work with Spanish-speaking people and you want to hold a meeting and show a video to explain that kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's helpful. And then we have reference librarians that you can come in and talk to anytime. We're open, and they can point you in the right direction if you have questions about visas or immigration law. I mean, we're not going to give you legal advice, but they know where to point you to, whether it's a website or to an agency or whatever.
That's a great program.
Advice.
I sure hope if there's any folks out there that didn't know about this program and that watched this show, that they take full advantage of that program.
And you don't have to come in. That's the other thing. You can call our reference desk or send an email.
Oh, it's even better.
We also have chat on our website, Chat with Librarians, if that's how you prefer to do it.
It's for the reference part of it? Or?
Yeah, some people want to be anonymous. They'd rather just chat.
Okay, sure. Well, that's modern.
Yeah.
Now, do you have computers for people to use or computer classes? Now, before you answer that, I wanted to mention something. I think I heard, and you could let me know, was Nashua one of the first libraries in America to have computerized, we used to go to the card system and pull cards out. Were they one of the premier? I thought I heard that.
Quite the opposite, actually.
Oh, okay.
We didn't automate our catalog until 2001.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty late.
Okay.
But we're all automated now. Yes.
Well, don't feel so bad. The healthcare system is still lagging. So,
yeah. But we do have computers. We have about 65 or 70 computers for the public to use. So
Okay.
some are in the adult area, some are in the teen area, some are in the kids area. And they can use them for email or surfing the internet, or we have Microsoft Word applications on there. If they want to,
okay.
type a resume in Word or use Excel.
Oh, so if one doesn't have a computer, if one couldn't afford it,
Yeah.
they could actually use the computer
Right.
at the,
At the
okay. Now,
library.
is there a charge for that, or is there a time you have to reserve it for?
There's no charge. You do need to either have a library card, or we sometimes we call it a cybrary card, which is a card for
Cybrary.
use. If you're not, some people aren't eligible for a library card, like travelers will often come into a library
Oh.
and want to use the computers, and we
Like a
just issue
Wi-Fi
them a
cafe
card.
or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we issue them a little card for that. But
Oh.
yeah, it is free. There are time limits. They start at an hour, but if there's no one else using the computer, you can get some extensions on that.
And
if there
those, I
aren't-
believe, are linked to printers also.
Yeah, we have
can
printers.
print.
And something we have
Is there a
color.
cost on that? I thought there was like a
Yes,
25
it's 25
cent.
cents for
Yeah.
color,
Right.
which is a real bargain.
Oh, it's
And-
a dollar elsewhere.
Yeah, and it's 15 cents for black and white. And something we started recently is called Print from Anywhere. So, like, let's say you're at home and your kid has a homework assignment and the printer breaks and they can't print it. You can send it to our printer and come pick it up.
That's
within
awesome.
36
So the kid doesn't
hours.
have to say the dog got it.
Right, they have record.
That's fantastic.
And another thing, we have scanners, so
Oh,
you can hook
okay.
a scanner you can hook up to a computer and use.
Wow.
that
See,
to-
I'm learning all this stuff. I had no clue about some of these things. What would you say? What would you say to people who say that they're just too busy to come to the library? I mean, their lives
Yeah.
with everything going on.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many things you can do from home now that you don't have to come in. The obvious is downloading an ebook or downloading an audiobook.
I think that's so awesome.
have
You
to
can
come
download an ebook for free.
Yeah, yeah. But also, a lot of people don't realize that if you do want to borrow a book, you can just go on our website, look it up on the catalog, reserve it, and then we'll send you an email when it becomes available. So then you just run in and pick it up. It's not like you have to
Yeah.
even go look for it.
Right.
Even if it's on the shelf when you reserve it, we'll go get it. And
So you can
put it
do a lot of
aside.
stuff online to kind of prep
Right.
if your life is a highly frenetic kind of
Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
Wow.
like I said, you can reserve the museum passes online. You don't have to come in to
Oh,
do that.
okay,
yeah.
okay.
And then we also have, like, for kids, I talked about the homework tutors, but there's also skill building on our website, so kids can do practice tests. We have a little facility where you can, say, take your spelling words, or say you need to learn the capitals. You can make flashcards, you can make little games, hangman, and
Oh,
different games
wow.
out of it to practice. So
Okay.
there's really all kinds of stuff that you can do. And we have practice tests for adults, too, who are taking, say, career tests like civil service or,
Wow, what a great service.
military tests or nursing tests. They can go on and do
Yeah.
practice tests. So.
Well, that just triggered something in my head. How about the college kids with their SAT or whatever?
Yeah, yep, we have
college tests,
practice
too.
for those.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
SAT,
And that's free.
ACT, that's free.
Because there
yeah.
are services that charge money for that, by the way,
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
I mean, they charge
yeah.
a lot of money for a workshop
Yeah,
to be able to get into a decent college.
right.
So that's
we have
that's great.
practice tests, yeah.
Now, how can I keep up with what's going on in the library?
Well, we talked about, we have a Facebook page.
Right.
Pretty easy to find on Twitter.
You have Twitter.
Yeah. We have, obviously, our website, nashualibrary.org.
Which has a lot of stuff on it, folks. I mean, there's a lot of teen programs, children's programs.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
The best thing when you go there is to just click on events, and you'll go to our online events calendar. And if you know what an RSS feed is, well, we have an RSS feed on the calendar, so you can use that. We have several email newsletters, so if you want to get like a weekly newsletter with events that comes
Oh,
out every
okay.
Friday, you can subscribe to that.
Right.
We also have, some people don't want to get an email every week, but we have ones that are for special interests, like if you're just interested in history programs, you can just get a
Oh, so
history
you can
newsletter.
specify your interest.
Yeah.
Not just get generic.
Right.
So if you like, you say history, art.
Right,
Instead of
music.
getting all the information, you get
You just get
specifically. Oh,
specific
wow.
things,
Okay.
yeah, so we don't bother you too often.
Yeah.
And of course, we still have, print calendars and flyers that are available in the library. We put things out, the newspaper, the Telegraph has, on Thursdays and Sundays, they run a column about libraries. That's all events going on. Some people never think to look at that, like if they might want to go out and hear some music,
Right.
they might look in, the nightlife section, but they should look in the library section. All
And
the
you
libraries
also have a film program. I've
Yeah.
seen Henry V with Kenneth Bragg as the director, and he made it so it was easier for folks that don't speak Old English. Kind of altered it a
Yeah.
bit. But I mean, what a wonderful film. But that was
Yeah.
indoors. But then you
Right.
also, that's a whole program unto itself. Then you have the
Yeah.
outdoor program, the summer program, I believe, where you show films on.
We,
do you do that,
We
or-
don't do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
The Summer Fun program has started doing dive-in movies where they show them at the city pools, at a couple of the city
Oh.
pools. So you lie on your raft in the water and watch a movie on the big screen next to the pool.
Well, la-di-da.
Yeah.
That's just something.
Yeah.
You could keep cool on a day like this when it's 103 or
Right,
whatever the
right.
thing
Yeah.
is.
And then, of course, there's the dinner and a movie program that the Chamber of Commerce has been doing. That's,
Okay. Now, what is that about? I haven't heard
well,
about
that's
that.
on East Pearl Street downtown.
Oh, okay. East
I
Pearl
think
Street. Okay.
every other Wednesday, they set up a film, screen for film, and one of the restaurants on East Pearl, like Stella Blue or Villabanca or Unum's, serves dinner.
Okay.
So I believe it's $10 for the movie, and then you buy dinner.
Oh.
But
okay.
that just started last summer, and
Oh.
they're doing it this year too.
That's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
a grown-ups night out.
Right. You
Yeah.
can have some wine and watch a movie
Yeah,
and do that.
yeah.
Now, one of the things I definitely wanted to get to was how can citizens support the library in times of tight budgets? Because, let's not forget 2008, even though it's 2013, a lot of folks are still being affected. And so budgets are tight. So, yeah, how can the average citizen, if, since they love the library, they love all the services, how can they pitch in and do their part?
Yeah. Well, first I should say Nashua as a city has really been very supportive of the library, unlike some towns whose libraries' budgets were slashed by a third or
Oh, wow.
they were closed, in 2008. Our budget certainly has not increased very much, but it's stayed steady, so we really appreciate the taxpayers' support for that.
Yeah.
But things people can do, one thing is they can join the Friends of the Library, which is a...
Friends of the Library.
Yeah, it's a
okay.
separate nonprofit group whose whole mission is to help the library. So they raise money, and then they do, like they're paying for many of the summer concerts this year.
Oh, okay.
They've paid for things. A couple of years ago, we bought an indoor stage so that when we have our indoor concerts, people can actually see the performers. They're raised, so we have a nice stage. And the
okay.
Friends raised the money to do that.
And that, believe me, I've been in some stage work, and my sister's an actress. That gets expensive.
It does, yeah. They pay for all the movies we show. We have to have a license to show them.
Oh.
And the Friends pay for that.
Per
those
movie or just
license.
an overall
It's
license?
a blanket license, a yearly
Oh.
license
Huh.
that we buy. So they pay for that.
Oh.
And so the way they raise most of their money is by selling used books. They have a big book sale in March every year, the third weekend in
Now,
March.
where would they have that per se?
In the library.
Oh, in the library.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the
Yeah.
Friends of the
Friends of
Library.
the Library.
Okay.
But also, when you walk into the front door of the library, on the right, there's a bunch of bookshelves with used books on them. Every day you can buy
Right.
from those shelves. And the books are only like $1 or $2.
Sometimes you can find some real gems. I
Yeah.
found one book on the Incas by National Geographic, but it was like 30 years old. Well, the Incan civilization is older than 30 years, so
Yeah.
pretty timely. And it was like 50 cents or something.
Yeah.
I literally had to
Yeah.
take out 2 quarters.
Right, right.
Yeah. And they have
So-
some awesome books if you just
Yeah.
dig through.
And then, people can, some people, I like to say, you can donate to the library if you have a little money, no money or lots of money. So if you have no money, you can donate used books.
Oh,
And that's a way to help the library.
And
you
where
know,
does one leave those? Like, let's say the door is closed. Can we
yeah.
leave them outside, or
No, we
what's the
don't have a
policy on
box.
that?
We ask you to bring them
Bring them in.
inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just want books in decent condition that other people want to buy. No encyclopedias, people don't buy them.
Oh, okay.
But,
Right.
no textbooks, they don't go very fast either.
Right.
But so that's, if you have no money, you can do that. If you have a little bit of money, what a lot of people do is they come in and they find out they have a fine of $1.25.
Right.
So they give us $2 and they say, keep the change.
Oh.
And you wouldn't believe that really adds up.
I bet it
really,
does.
A lot
Yeah.
of people, when you say they have a fine, they say, oh, I don't mind. It goes to the library. So
That's awesome.
And then people with a lot of money have given in their wills, have set up trust funds for the library.
Uh-huh.
And we have some significant trust funds that throw off interest each year, but most of those, the money is designated for certain purposes.
Oh, okay. Whatever that
mainly
person
books.
was into or whatever.
Yeah, and
okay.
usually it's for the purchase of books.
I wanted, something came to mind. I mean, you guys have so much going on.
Uh-huh.
Also, the nice thing about the library, when you look out their windows, you see that the river. It's a gorgeous view there, and there are sculptures in the front of the museum. In fact, my friend helped sponsor that particular sculpture. It's called the Moon, whatever. And then there's one in the back.
Yeah.
So they have sculptures and they have all these things going on. But you have a genealogy room, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's still there, I believe.
Yep, it's called the Hunt Room.
Yeah. Now, what is that all about for people that aren't aware?
Yeah, that room has books and materials about local history, New Hampshire history,
Okay.
and Nashua history. We have maps, we have photographs. We also have access to online databases like Ancestry.com.
Now, all that's free, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, most of the books in the Hunt Room, you can't take them home because many of them are rare. So you can use them in the Hunt Room, but they'd be irreplaceable if they got lost or damaged. So we don't let them be taken out.
And I'd say in the Hunt Room, you have a spectacular view
Yes.
when you're in there. I mean,
Yeah.
one time I walked in there, I just couldn't believe it. It was just, the view was beautiful, and they have these nice books there.
Yeah.
And so that's another great program. I mean, your
Yeah.
program is just, you can, we could have a 4-hour show, seriously. Now, what are the future plans of the library? That's a big
Yeah.
thing to know about for people.
Well, some short-term plans. One thing we want to do is have set up a couple of computers that we call like express stations, so you only can use them for 15 minutes. Maybe they're standing up instead of sitting down, and it's just like if you want to run in and check your email, you don't want to
okay.
wait for a computer, so there'll be quick turnover on them.
So that's what's
So
coming.
That's coming in
okay.
probably in the next few weeks
Oh.
or months, yeah. I'd love to, we have downloadable books, e-books. I'd like to see sometime soon downloadable films.
Oh, wow.
Well, one thing we do have a service called IndieFlix, where on our website you can stream some films. They're mostly shorts and kind of art films, and
Okay.
You're not going to find the latest thing that's
Right.
at Cinemagic on there.
Right.
But what I envision someday is instead of having to buy so many physical DVDs, we'll have them available for you to download or stream, just
right.
like
and that
you
would
do
open
with
up
our
your
e-book.
space also.
Yeah, that also
Right.
improves.
And I just wanted to backtrack for 1 second on
Mm-hmm.
the actual physical film itself. I remember years ago, I went in and you have some films there that are real gems, but they're black and white, but they're older films, like they're classics. And one really needs to go through that section. I found Alec Guinness, something in Coronets, where the family, it's a comedy, and someone's basically killing off the family so they can get the inheritance. And it's a wonderful movie. It's for all family members. But you have some real classic films, and then you have some films from the German age, the golden age of cinema, the 20s and 30s, where they have those
Yeah.
abstract set designs, like in Das Cabinet de Caligari and that type thing, and then going into Metropolis, and you know that goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
But and then you also have a section, if I'm not mistaken, of films that won the Film of the Year, or you have a whole little series of that, I believe. Academy Award-winning films, or
We do, we buy them. I don't know that we have them in a separate
Oh,
section.
okay.
They're probably filed in, but we have a section with foreign films. You know, we have family films in a certain section, nonfiction in a section. Some interesting thing, we buy a lot of the Criterion collection of DVDs, which are the art films and the older films.
Okay.
I mean, we also buy the real popular stuff
Right.
that's just coming out, but what makes us different is that we have some of this older, more unusual stuff. We have a lot of Bollywood films.
oh, okay,
They go out like crazy.
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
very fun.
Yeah.
And for those folks that don't know what Bollywood's all about, what Bollywood is India, I believe, is the country that produces the most films in any country on the planet, basically. And one of the films that the people like to watch, but also in America, that's why they call it Bollywood. That's our little Americanized way of saying it. Is it's a musical, and it usually has to do with a love story, and there's sometimes mythology that involves Indian mythology, so you might learn something about Eastern culture from a mythological standpoint, or Eastern thought per se, and then they're just fun. That's basically what it comes down to. I have a friend we'll be interviewing next week, hopefully, Dan over at the Hippo, the associate publisher there, and he has a Bollywood program where they actually have a Bollywood film festival.
Oh,
And then his
okay.
buddy, Jeff Rapsis, does the silent film.
Yes, right.
So there's a lot of great stuff going on. Now I kind of saved, I won't say the best for last, but just another aspect for last, really. One that I'm highly interested in, being an artist. You have an image gallery downstairs that maybe not everybody knows about the program per se. They might
Right.
walk through and they might see some art and whatever. What I love, again, being here for 30 years in Nashua, I've gone through the image gallery downstairs and seen various artists, and what they do is they take 2 months, they put their work in the gallery for 2 months, and they have a reception there. And you folks are great about helping out anything that needs to be, you know, assisted on. You're there at the receptions. That's a big help. So you have like 6 artists a year, basically, putting their work up for 2 months. So I guess if I was going to ask a question about that with you, what is one of the more fun receptions you've had over the years, like with an artist that just did something that was kind of fun and you had a good time with?
Well,
over all the years that it's been there.
We had an artist, and I'm trying to remember his name, but he makes things out of recycled materials,
Oh,
like
okay.
sculptures.
Right.
It might be Wayne Goulet, but I'm not certain. So I remember one of his sculptures was a metal garbage can filled with stuff, and there was a Barbie doll head first stuck in the top of the garbage can with the legs sticking out.
Right, right.
And so every time I'd walk by it, someone had moved the legs in a different direction. You know, it was just kind of interactive art.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of fun, his exhibit. Then we've had Young Chen, who illustrates children's books.
Okay.
He's got some beautiful, beautiful books. If you haven't read any of them, you should
No, I
look at
haven't.
them. So he's exhibited, and he came in and did a watercolor demo once that was really
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
fun. A lot of people were really interested to see.
Now, is
how
he international or national?
He
or?
lives in Nashua. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he has some involvement with Highlights for Children, the magazine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he illustrates for them or they publish some of his books, but I know he's involved with them. So he's a noted artist, and it was fun to have him in.
That's awesome. Let me ask you, what are some of the international artists or national artist work that were there that impressed you over the years?
Oh, well, we always have local artists.
It's a
in the,
well, I mean,
in
it
the,
may be a local artist, but they have national, international
oh,
That's what I meant by
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, I'm not really sure. I do remember one artist, I believe her name was Leslie Redhead.
Okay.
And
Oh, that sounds really
is that,
familiar.
she,
Yeah.
this was maybe 7 years ago, and she
Right.
moved out of town, but I know, I'm sure she was up and coming. She had some beautiful work there. Also, Loretta Hubley.
Oh,
You
I
know
know
her?
of her. She does the
Yeah.
prints.
Yes.
And she'll do
yeah.
a small run of like 4. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know if she is, but she was for the longest time a teacher at Rivier College there.
Yes, right, right.
Yeah, she's very talented.
Right. Mark Winnett is another artist that's done, he does super, I guess it's photorealism, super realistic
Okay.
work of mostly like urban scenes like Brooklyn or the Bronx or,
Right.
you know, so kind of gritty stuff.
Okay, yeah.
He'd had one of, I think, the Church Street Market in Nashua
Okay.
that people were really interested in. And his stuff has been in museums. I think there's a museum in New York, like a firefighters museum.
Okay.
I think he had something there because I think he did a painting of a firehouse. But it was fun because in his paintings, he puts 2 little red eyes, just very subtle. So
In
it's kind of
every
like
painting?
many
Oh,
of them.
okay.
So it's kind of a Where's Waldo type of thing. You know, you go around and look at the look for those. But he hasn't displayed in a while. He also did a show of black and white drawings of the railroad out in Milford. It's an abandoned railroad line.
Oh, okay.
But we ended up actually buying a couple of those. Their director has some of those in
Ooh.
her office. And he's, last I knew, he worked at BAE. And, you know, he's a self-taught artist.
Wow.
So he doesn't do it full time. He works at BAE,
Right.
but and works in museums. But he's just really an amazing painter.
It's kind of amazing how many technical people are into the arts. I found
Yeah.
a lot of, when I'm interested in science, a lot of the theoretical physicists all play, not all, but a lot of them play music because it's,
Yeah.
I guess, the mathematics in science and the mathematics in art, in music.
In music,
And
yeah.
then there's a lot of math, believe it or not, in visual arts when you get down to the proportions of
Yeah.
the people. People may not know the exact anatomical proportionality of the human, but they know when it's wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
exactly,
that they
yeah.
know, and so the
Yeah.
artist always has to take that into account. It's a
Yeah.
highly mathematical,
Right,
process
right.
when you do that. That's interesting. And then before the show, we had like another show that was interesting. It's like, it would have been nice if that would have been taped too.
Yeah.
And you were talking about as you go down the stairs from the I guess you call it the ground floor when you first walk into the
Yeah.
library. And as you go down the stairs to the image gallery, there's the work of James Aponovich, the international. I think he was
right.
Nashua born, or
Yes.
Nashua. He lived in Nashua.
He lived in Nashua for a number of years. I think
Yeah.
he's moved elsewhere in New Hampshire since then. But his stuff is beautiful. And again, has a work at the MFA in Boston, and I think in the Chicago Art Museum and some others.
The Courier has a couple
Yeah.
pieces
yeah.
of his.
So the one in the library is called View from Jackson Falls, and it's kind of that view you were talking about from the Hunt Room.
Okay.
It's kind of something like that, you know, the area around Margaritas and the dam, the waterfall there. And yeah, you can stand at the top of our stairs and just stare at that as long as you want. But what we had there was a man named Leo Burbank who died in, I want to say like 1932, and he left $5,000 to be a fund to purchase work by living artists. But he wouldn't allow the money to be spent for 50 years. He wanted it to grow. So it was invested for 50 years. And it ended up being, in 1982, they had a substantial amount of money to use to purchase works. So many of them are either hanging in the library or we have in store. Unfortunately, we don't have enough room to hang everything that we've been able to buy with that money. But some of them are in the children's room. We have some original illustrations from children's books, like some by Lois Lenski, who's an older children's book author, but a renowned one. We have one by, I believe, by Jan Brett, who's a more contemporary author that people would know. So they're the raw illustration without even the text in
Wow.
there, but they're really beautiful.
I
to
know when
look
you
at.
watch Antique Roadshow, just the valuation on those, that type of art is really high. Like
Yeah.
there was, when I went to Northampton, Massachusetts, and there's the one gallery on Main Street, don't know the name of it, but it's the one gallery on Main Street there. And that Smith College is right down the road. And they have, in their gallery, they have works by, that way with, oh geez, I can't think of his name, but he's the, Dr. Seuss.
Oh.
They have Dr. Seuss. Now, I have no clue what that work is worth.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they have a wooden sculpture of one of the characters. And I remember seeing on, and I was curious, like, what's the value on that? Then on Antique Roadshow, somebody went to a yard sale or something and picked up these two Dr. Seuss things, and they were wood carvings, and the price was worth so much.
Yeah.
The interesting little gallery they have in Northampton there, because they have it used to be a bank at one time, so they have an area called the Vault, which is literally the vault. They opened up. Leonard Nimoy, believe it or not, I was up there at the time. Leonard Nimoy loves that gallery. He's an avid photographer with this old Browning that he uses. That's his. I mean, he can afford anything on the planet. Probably.
Yeah.
So he got this old Browning.
Or other planets.
Yeah, or other planets. And he has all of his work in the vault. So the big deal artist always has the vault, you know. And you walk in, and I go, oh, this is Leonard Nimoy. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And then I missed the reception. But anyway, so yeah, so you have a lot of work there, and I remember over the years looking at the James Aponovich over the years and just thinking, what a gorgeous painting, and how nice that the library has it. I know City Hall has some of his work,
Yes.
but he really gave to the city, and his work is evaluated so much. Now, you had mentioned some other art programs that you have. Did you want to talk about those?
Well, every year we participate in Art Walk,
Okay.
which is September, I believe, 28th and 29th
So that's
this
coming
year.
up.
Yeah, so we usually have either a demonstration or reception or some music, live music going on during that. Yeah.
Now, do you link up with the Nashua area artist on that, or specific art
Well,
groups?
City Arts
or?
Nashua
Oh, okay.
runs that.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So we work with them on that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and of course we have concerts in the summer. We have box lunch concerts on Wednesdays at noon
Okay.
through August 14th.
Now, where are those held exactly?
Downstairs in the Music,
Downstairs,
Art, and
yes.
Media Wing. And we also have on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock, we have outdoor concerts on the plaza, and they will
Okay.
go through August 15th this year.
Oh,
So the indoor ones are mostly classical music, or maybe some jazz, and the outdoor ones tend to be more either folk or jazz or
Okay.
R&B or whatever.
right.
Yeah, a little more
They could
casual.
be a little louder too, right? Because they're outdoors, perhaps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But we have a new setup downstairs for our concerts. We've moved things around, and everybody's raving about how much more comfortable it is. And
Well, I know I
So-
went to one of your concerts years ago, in the downstairs area, and it was Celtic something, and it was a husband and wife team, and I ended up buying a CD from them at the. I was so fascinated because my interest in civilizations and stories, and they were telling these mythic kind of stories, and they were taking traditional stories
Yeah.
and tweaking them,
Oh,
and it was kind of like a sing-song way of narrating it, all this
Oh,
interesting.
okay.
And that was at the
Yeah.
library. It was called
Yeah.
Celtic something. I think Whale was in the, anyway. But you always have interesting things
yeah, we
that
try
could be
to.
from another culture, another land in terms of.
Yeah, from time to time we'll have like a historical reenactor, a person who, we had a woman who reenacts Susan B. Anthony.
Oh, really?
Or the Lincolns, or there's a lot of people that do that. that we hook up with usually through the New Hampshire Humanities Council.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah.
that's an obvious link.
Yeah, they
Okay.
have like kind of a speakers bureau to help you find people like that. So it just brings the history to life more than listening to a lecture.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
so those are fun things we do. Yeah.
Now, is there anything else you wanted to bring up that we haven't covered? I mean, the library offers so much
yeah.
that.
I didn't mention that we also have computer classes.
Okay.
Free computer classes for everything from how to use the mouse and the keyboard, if you don't know how to do that.
Oh, you mean the basics?
The very
basics,
basics,
yes.
to how to use Microsoft Word or
Oh.
Excel or.
And all that's free, or is there some
It's all
charge for that?
free, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're mostly one-time workshops, but we tell people if you want to take it, go home and practice, come back and take it again and get all your questions answered, you can do that.
Wow. So it was like a self-tutorial or something?
Well, no, there's teachers
Oh, there are
in the
actual
class,
teachers there.
yes.
Oh, okay.
But then, sometimes people get out of the class and their head is full and they need some time to try it themselves, and then they realize there were a lot of questions they should have asked.
I've
So
actually
they
had that
might come
happen a
back.
couple times.
Yeah. But you just go to our website and there's a link to computer classes, and so you can pre-register
Yeah.
for those. And then we have once a week we have a drop-in help session where you can just drop in and, bring your question, whatever it is. I want to start a Facebook account and I have no idea how to do it. Can you show me how?
Okay.
Or I want to download ebooks and I just got a Kindle but I don't know how to do it. Can you show me how to do it?
Wow.
So whatever, will help to this extent. And our librarians are very savvy. They can help most people with their problems with their computer technology questions.
That's great. Now, are there
Yeah.
any events that you'd like to talk about that's going
well-
to play into the lead in terms of?
Maybe it's probably good timing for Back to School Night, which
Back to
is
School Night.
Thursday, August 22nd.
Okay.
Nashua goes back to school. It's an event sponsored by the Chamber and the city. It's like a citywide alliance that puts it together. And kids can come that night, and there's a representative from every school in Nashua in our children's room.
Okay.
And you go up and meet your principal or one of the teachers, and they give you a bag full of school supplies free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then outside on our plaza, we have, made everything from the Boys and Girls Club to Girls Inc. and the Y. They've got tables, and they're giving away more school supplies and, doing fun activities. And so we get usually about 1,500 people come to that each year.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
good crowd.
It's a very busy night. There's also raffles. There's usually a DJ there with music. So
Oh.
it's a really fun night, yeah. And, everybody's welcome to come to that.
Oh, that's great. Now, I know in your children's room, maybe people don't know that that they actually do. Writers come in, children book writers, and they come in and they read from their books, and they have the children. Aren't you folks do those, right? Maybe they.
Well, we have story hours that our librarians do
Story
about
hour, okay.
5 or 6 times a week.
Okay.
Occasionally, we'll have an author. About a week or two ago, we had Sandra Levins, who's written several children's books. She's from Iowa, but she happened to be traveling in New Hampshire, so she stopped by and read from her books and signed her books. And some people bought her books, and some people borrowed our copies of them. But yeah, so that's always nice for kids to see that an author is a real person, and it's a great activity.
And do you have? I think you have puppet shows in there too every now and then.
Right,
too, right?
after each story hour, we have a little puppet theater, and we have a puppet show after each story hour. So we started a few years ago. We call Babies and Books Story Hours. So those are geared to. Some of the sessions are geared to the first year, baby's first year, and some to their second year, where we not only read to them but do songs and talk to the parents about how to develop your baby's language skills at this young
Wow.
age. So that's a really valuable thing. And it's also a way for young parents to meet other parents. People come in when their baby's 3 weeks old, and it's really wonderful to see it.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I know. I knew about the puppet show because I had a friend that wrote a book. She actually was my website person at the time, and she had written a book about it's a type of lizard. I can't think, but they get huge. And so anyway, so she had the A to Z's of how to take care of your large
Lizard.
lizard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. And she had come up with a puppet show.
Oh.
So I was doing the puppet of the lizard
Oh.
in the little thing there.
Oh,
The curtain,
okay.
da-da-da, the curtain
Yeah.
opens, and then I was trying to do it right, and then she'd talk, and I tried to, like, my hand was moving,
Right.
and I'm no puppeteer, so I
Yeah,
was kind of like
yeah.
learning on the fly. I had to have a friend from the Boston Guild of Puppeteers, and she was a big help. She says, well, when you know, whatever, I was
How to
trying to
do
get
it,
into it.
yeah.
Yeah. But then I would move like that, and then my friend that was reading from the book, she'd be talking, and we'd be doing this, and yeah, it's fun, and the kids are getting
Yeah.
into it, and then you see afterwards she handed out little black and white illustrations from the books and little crayons, and the kids were coloring.
Oh, nice,
Then they had a
nice.
contest after that, whoever
Uh-huh.
first, second, third, and they won
Yeah.
a little netted thing full of crayons and other art supplies. So
Oh, nice,
it's kind of a
nice.
neat little thing.
Yeah.
So I think that puppet thing is, when you see the kids watching the puppets, and the puppets are in the zone. The puppets are in the zone. The kids are like fascinated. You can just
Yeah.
see, and the
Yeah.
adults get that kid-like glow about
Yeah.
them too. Like they get into that other world
Right,
because it's
right.
such a good program.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah.
fun.
So, is there anything else you'd like to bring out, or?
Well, as you did mention, we also have programs for teenagers,
Okay.
12 to 17. They have their own room in the library with, books, special magazines, especially for them, computers just for them. It's a great place to come and do your homework. And then we have, usually on Tuesdays at 4, we have activities for teens, whether it's a craft or a few weeks ago we had one where you tore apart old appliances and electronics to see what was inside of them.
Wow. They
or
must have loved that one.
Yeah, they did. Somebody really enjoyed pulling apart a Keurig coffee maker. And recently we had a cosplay masquerade ball for the teens.
Oh,
and they
wow.
were all dressed up and wore masks, and it was a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
you really do have a lot of great teen programs. I
Yeah.
noticed that. It's good. It keeps the kids active. Carol, I want to thank you so much. You were an awesome guest. You fascinating history, and there's so many things going on at the Nashua Public Library. Please go down to the Nashua Public Library or use all the facilities online and support the Nashua Public Library, because they do great work and they've been doing it for a long, long time. It's an excellent place to go and hang out.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.